Welcome to Rev Up Your Business with Hilda Gan. We are now in season 5, and we've changed the name and the focus of the podcast. Rev Up Your Business is the podcast for small to medium-sized business owners, entrepreneurs, and HR professionals. Each week, we share tips, strategies, and trends on how you can build success in your business. I share my expertise as a people-centric leader in work culture and human resources. My guests share their expertise in human resources, marketing, sales, finance, IT, leadership, and the multiple facets that you need to take care of your business. If you love to learn and want to find out how you can rev up your business, join us. Welcome to another episode of Rev Up Your Business. Today we're talking about marketing. But marketing is such a huge, big topic. So we're going to focus on strategy in marketing and finding the right supports for the right needs and the roles that people might play either outsourcing or internally. Today, my guest is Jen Kelly. She leads New Initiatives Marketing. NIM for short. It's a marketing company that serves growing B2B companies in the tech services, industrial, and non-food manufacturing sectors. They offer fractional chief marketing officer and expert marketing team services. Prior to starting NIM in 2009, Jen had over 17 years experience in marketing departments at Tier 1 companies in Canada and globally. She worked on marketing teams for Financial Times UK in London, nice, Siemens and Motorola. NIM is a WEB certified woman-owned company. Starting in marketing departments way back when there were fax campaigns, and some of us are going, fax campaigns, wow, I still remember that. Don't have my fax machine anymore. Jen has worked through major changes in the industry, from why do we need a website, to why do we need to be on social media, to how are we going to market through COVID? Jen has been consistently and steadily advising her clients to implement solid marketing processes that can help their company grow and achieve their businesses and their business goals. I'd like to say hello, Jen.
Hello, Hilda. How are you doing?
I'm doing great, and I think a good way to start is some of those questions people asked you. Maybe not the fax campaigns, although if you have a story about that, let us know. But those key questions where people are saying, why do we need a social media? Why do we need, and what are we going to do in COVID? So maybe that's a good place to start.
Absolutely. So before starting my company, I worked in the corporate marketing teams. And so I've been on both sides of the desk, as they call it. So on the agency side and on the in-house corporate side. The major points about those anecdotes, like fax campaigns and why do we need a website and why do we need to be on social and what are we going to do about getting through COVID, that just illustrates how much change happens and how much marketing and other aspects of business just have to either change with it or, you know what, roll right through it. We can't let major changes in society and in technology always stop us in our tracks. And it was just an example of how decade over decade, there's some major thing that makes businesses go, oh, we don't need to do that, do we? And it's funny because you just look 10 to 15 years earlier and it was the same thing we said about, ABC.
So any suggestions for people, like, just embrace change? I know you had a company called Nimble Quotes. Well, not company, but you had this idea about Nimble Quotes, and I just love that. Maybe you can share that anecdote.
Sure, that was Nimble Quotes. It was a service, so software as a service, and what it did was it was a subscription that people could sign up for, and what you would get is inspirational quotes posted to your Twitter account as if you tweeted them yourself. A very niche service, and that was the service. And what was interesting about that is, as we were developing it, the reason for it, it came about in 2015. One of the reasons for it is because in dealing with our clients and getting them onto social media, they seemed very comfortable with posting and sharing information about the company, not so comfortable sharing about themselves, anything personal, anything that wasn't, 100% professional. And back then, it was the time where that kind of information or showing your human side was very much starting to be expected, and it was okay to show you that you were a human beside, behind your business and whatnot. And so one of the things that we noticed was sort of a middle road of, okay, it's not business, but it's not exactly showing their personal lives either, but it was showing quotes. And in the world of inspirational quotes, there's all kinds of quotes for all kinds of industries. And the suggestion to post inspirational quotes that aligned with their business, their brand, was something that they were all the ones that were hesitant were all very, very positive about and thought that was a great idea. We got doing that manually, and then we turned it into a database and a service. The thing with the change that you're speaking about is we hooked that company to Twitter, meaning that the API, the way we had everything set up, it was a Twitter focused company. It was a Twitter focused service. And we went into it knowing full well that if something ever happened to Twitter, that could negatively or positively affect our business. And so fast forward to, some recent changes at Twitter, now X, that's exactly what happened. So we had to shut down the service, shut down that area of the business in June of 2023 due to the changes there on that platform. And that's the kind of thing that, it was forced upon us. So, what are you going to do? But that's one of the things that that can really happen in business. You're going along. The little service was doing, it's doing great. The customers that we had that would come back year after year were thrilled about it. We had a little good little community, good little niche happening with people that really enjoyed inspirational quotes in that service. But from a business point of view, as soon as the big monster changed, we had to change with it, and change with it, unfortunately, meant we had to shut it down. So as much as technology and these changes can be painted as wonderful things for business, and don't get me wrong, it was a great run. It was fabulous. But also too, within weeks, we were shutting that down and giving refunds and trying to figure out, what do we do with Nimble Quotes 2.0?
Is Nimble Quotes going to have a 2.0? Are you in the germination stage of that, or on
It's in the
to other
works. It's
things?
in the works. Yeah,
Okay.
it's in the
Okay.
works.
Thank
Yeah.
you. So, you talked about the fax machine idea and social media and then on to COVID. So now we're in post-COVID. And I know I talk to my colleagues all the time. What are you sensing out there? Like, I thought it was great in the summertime. People took time off, and I thought, this is great. This is our first summer, full summer post-COVID, and people are quiet on social media. And good, because I'm taking a break too. And then we come back in September, and it's flooded. This market is so flooded. I just don't know what to make of it. So I'm going to ask you this question as a B2B. What is the current trends, and what should we be thinking about from a marketing strategy perspective as we're coming out of COVID and social media is, I don't know what to make of it, but I'm sure you could tell us what's going on.
Well, it's yeah, quite a lot is going on for sure, and that it affects, just like COVID affected different people different ways, whether it had to do with your family or your work or whatever it did. Everybody had a different experience with it, and the same thing we're finding post COVID with businesses and whatnot. So everybody is having either a different experience of what business is like post COVID. And there's lots going on in the world right now that is affecting businesses and trade and whatnot. So there's lots to be concerned about, and lots to frankly get distracted about. And that's the thing that we come back to when working with companies with a marketing strategy, because it really is easy to go for the shiny object, go for what's working for your competition, go for what you've heard might be working really well for this company or that company. But the thing is that chasing after those tactics without knowing how is this helping our company is it's a very frustrating thing for the company, because they think they may go into this tactic with all of the enthusiasm that this is finally going to work for us, and when it doesn't, it's first of all disappointing. They've spent all that time, that money, that enthusiasm for it, and that's where it can lead folks to come to the conclusion that marketing just doesn't work for us, when in actual fact there wasn't a strategy, a marketing strategy there. That marketing strategy wasn't linked to the business goals, and that's another thing that's very important with marketing. In the business, marketing is there to support the business goals. It can't be on its own silo doing its own campaigns, and that's one of the things that developing a marketing strategy will help you lock in, is what are the business goals, and then how can marketing help and support and drive the company towards achieving those business goals.
And I think this is your fractional chief marketing officer, so CMO, voice coming out. You've said it several times now. It's about strategy, and it's about linking it to your business and your needs, and not to get distracted or find a shiny object and latch onto that. And that shiny object has nothing to do and will not help your core business, right? So tell us more about, what does a fractional CMO do?
Fractional CMO. So it's funny because the fractional chief financial officer has been out there in the marketplace for a good 10, 15 years ahead of our fractional chief marketing officers. So I have to give credit to another agency or another industry, excuse me, for paving the way in this fractional expertise offering. So a fractional chief marketing officer, so there's a couple different parts to it. So the fractional would mean that this person does not work full time in the organization that they are working with. They may have several organizations that they were working with, hence the point of it being fractional. The chief marketing officer, the CMO part of it, is that you are bringing in somebody who has the experience and the understanding of what it takes to have or create a marketing strategy that really is linked to the business goals. Make sure that's sound and flexible. So I have to let you know that a marketing strategy is really the guardrails that allows your company to go down and keep promoting throughout the year. But not every shiny object that comes along is awful. So what that marketing strategy does allow you to do is to say, oh, new shiny object, new way of promoting the company. Does that fit with us? Should we take a chance on it? And then you can take an educated chance on it and have the chance to have more success with it. So I know when people hear strategy, they think, oh, it's rigid and maybe it takes forever to get done. But it really needs to be flexible. The fractional chief marketing officer is a period of time in your business and maybe serving other clients at the same time.
Right. And I think that just to reinforce the fractional aspect is that therefore you're getting the expertise of somebody who will help you create the vision and the plan that is flexible at a fraction of the cost. In other words, you don't have to pay for a full-time person, but you get that expertise, whether you need it like 2 days a month for the first 3 months, and then, every other month for an hour. That's the beauty of it. You're not paying for somebody to sit around and not be fully effective and useful. You've got other people that can do things at more of an administrative level or a project management level, but the fractional is the strategy in building that. right? You're nodding,
Yes,
you're
you're
nodding.
right.
Yeah. So I
Yes,
wanted to bring that forward.
yes,
And
yes.
yes, we have the fractional CFO to thank. And so now I'll put a plug in for the fractional HRO, because like a CMO, like a CFO, the fractional HR gives you that strategy, gives you that foundation to build something where other people can implement it, but they may not know how to build a strategy that grows and scales with your business, right? So, and that's what you're doing, is you're helping that company grow and achieve based on a plan that really aligns with the business and supports the business's growth.
Yes,
Let's
absolutely.
dive into, so not like, when would somebody feel they need a fractional CFO? Because somebody might say, well, I'm only 3 or 5 people. I don't need one of those. When would one use a CMO?
Yeah. A company would use a fractional chief marketing officer when they're ready to get serious about marketing, and I mean that in a very respectful way. Sometimes when a company is growing, they're doing fine on sales led initiatives, and life is good and whatnot. But when it comes time to getting serious about the marketing, and there could be a couple of I guess warning signs or flags along the way that would tell the business owner or the leadership team it's time to get serious about marketing. And some of those could be stalled revenue for no reason. Some of those could be you're relying on referrals, and the great thing about referrals is they're very warm and easy. Most times easier to close the business. The
Mhm.
problem with referrals are they do not come on your timeline. You cannot, forecast referrals, unfortunately. So, it leaves you a little bit out of control of your business in that kind of way. Another warning flag could be we've tried a few marketing things. They haven't really worked. Maybe marketing doesn't work for us. And some other things that their sales team may be coming back to management with is, we keep getting jammed on price, or we keep getting compared to the competition, and we have no way to sort of rebut how good we are. So those things would all be indications that it's time to get serious about marketing, and those kind of questions and those kind of problems can be solved by a marketing strategy. Now, as for the size of the business, whether you're 3 people, 30 people, 300 people, it's more what thinking at that kind of level is going to bring you. So if we juxtapose the fractional CMO level compared to a junior marketer, and I mean junior in the discipline, no matter how old they are. If you bring a junior in, they're not going to have the experience to create a strategy. They might be still at the level where they're asking, what do you need me to do? And I'll go do it. That's going to lead to a bit of a tailspin with marketing in your company, and you're not going to get the alignment that you need between marketing and the rest of the
Yes.
organization.
At that level, they are executors. They are
Yes.
not the creators. And so if you're relying on them to do that, they can't, because they don't have that skill set. And if you're being the person that creates that skill set, that you have to be the person that creates the ideas, it's not as good, because I'm sure you didn't get into the business to be the marketer if that's not your core business. So yeah.
Yeah, that's a good point too. I mean, marketing is so visible to us, whether we're in business as a consumer every day, you're bombarded by the ads or the promotions and whatnot, and it may look easy and straightforward to create something. Oh, this worked, I bought. But the thinking and the planning and the drafts and the amount of things that didn't work before that one campaign did work is behind the scenes, and that's what you don't see. So it is it
I find
is not everyone
currently
can do it. Yeah.
I find currently there's so much on social media. I'm a LinkedIn person mostly, and the amount of stuff, I was on vacation, and when I'm on vacation, I usually answer my emails, and I browse the LinkedIn and stuff. And I just thought, oh my God, there is so much here. I just wanted to turn it off, and I kind of did, because I was on vacation. But it's almost too much now, and I think there's just too much marketing going on. What's your take on that, Jen? What are you seeing?
Well, is there too much? I mean, there's a lot of promotion out there. There certainly is. But here's the thing too: if it didn't work for the market that they're after, it wouldn't be happening. So, and this is another thing too. I mean, as social media matures as a channel, things are going to change with it. I mean, we're already seeing LinkedIn become a little less businessy, a little more.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I would say casual. I mean, I'm happy with it sticking businessy. I like the fact that it is a channel to talk all about work and business type of things. But it's evolving, just like all the other channels
Yeah,
are.
yeah.
And
I always thought of Facebook as being where you do your social stuff, you know, and LinkedIn was where you talked about the business, and it's getting a little softer in that way. I know I can see it evolve. Let's talk now. I did share with people at the very beginning. We were going to talk about the different roles. So we started with the CMO, the fractional CMO, because that's building the foundation, that strategy. And you kind of talked about the person in the junior roles and how they only are they not only, but they do more the administrative, the execution part of that. Share some of the other roles that people might either outsource or keep in-house, and what should be the opportunities for things they can do, and some of the restrictions that you need to keep in mind, because I think we get frustrated because we spend dollars and then we don't see outcome. And then so maybe helping educate us is that when you do buy this is what you got, and this is what all you're going to get.
yeah, that's very true. That's very true. And what we have seen is within marketing, there are many different experts, many different agencies, many different outsourcing companies that can focus really well on one thing. There is also the full service, but the one thing to focus on. So if we're talking SEO or email marketing or branding, those where we find the disappointment is if those firms or that person is brought in and then expected to do all kinds of other marketing things outside of their expertise. Now, while they may be aware of them, their expertise is in a certain area. And that's where it can get a little bit fuzzy for the business owner or the leadership team thinking, marketing is marketing. Why can't you do the rest of it? So
Yeah, yeah.
that's where you go back to the marketing strategy. And if you have someone there to choose and help guide who to bring in next, that can be very helpful, because those experts at whatever level they're going to be coming in asking, okay, where's your strategy? Where does my part fit in? And they'll be directed by the chief marketing officer.
Okay. So I'm going to ask a question about SEOs, because I have this podcast and everybody's like, oh, this is a great podcast, da, 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 da. He says, but you're not getting as many people as you could. I can help you find the SEOs that will bring in the people. And I'm going, yeah, 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 yeah. So I think a lot of us in marketing, for whatever purpose, we want to be, up at the top, but maybe we don't want to pay for sponsorship to show up on LinkedIn as number one when you're looking for marketing services or HR services. Up pops People Brighter, up pops NIM, because we paid for that. So just, I'm sure other people are wondering the same thing. So what is your take on SEOs and its value in that marketing strategy that one develops?
Sure, absolutely. Were you promised first page of Google, Hilda?
I just ignore these things after a while. I spent 4 years of my life in IT, so I've been groomed over the course of 25 years of being a business entrepreneur on all of these shiny, flashy objects.
Yeah, yeah. If only it was so fast. So, in general, so where does SEO fit in? Okay, so if you have your strategy, part of your strategy is going to be mapped out to who you're serving, and you will have found out within the strategy how do people find you. And so, if we're talking online here. The very same words that you or your business uses to talk about what you do may not be the same words that someone who could be a client is using to find you.
Mhm.
So I'm sure every industry has this. We like talking in our own nomenclature and whatnot. But our potential clients are not immersed in this case in marketing every single day. So why would they call it the same thing? So before or part of embarking upon a SEO strategy would be to go out and do that research. Quite literally, making a list of words that we think we show up in Google for. Here's what we would call what we do. And then going out and through research, you find out what people are actually using to find businesses like you. And where the disconnect usually is us as a company, we're calling it the product or the service or whatever. And your potential customer is asking about solving a problem. How do I
Mhm.
solve ABC? XYZ is not really working. What do I do to fix it? And so the research that comes back can then be the thing that allows you to embark on an SEO campaign very well, because then you'll know, okay, we call our things all these 10 things. We see that the search results are really coming up high in our area for these 4 questions. We've done the research against our competitors, and we see with these 2 to 3 questions, there's an open space for us to really own those words, and owning those words would then mean you're creating content that has those phrases in it, and that's how Google will see, oh, this company is creating answers to the question that this person just typed in. As long as it's legitimate content, that's how Google decides, okay, we'll pull up that web page as an
Yeah.
answer. So it's a long-term thing, but again, it goes back to, you really have to think through, what are those words that you're going to use within your SEO strategy? And that's how we map through to get it.
And thanks for sharing that, because I think oftentimes we're, as business owners, developing, well, what do we want to tell them? What do we want to sell them? What do they need? And you got to remember, me included, to think about, what is the problem that they have and how do I solve it? So it is about listening, and it is about learning and putting yourself in your client's shoes. So the words they use aren't necessarily the words that you use. No one's ever going to look up rev up in my business. And that's what I do. I help people create healthy work cultures. So I need to talk about toxic culture and work engagements, because they use those words, or culture and bad bosses. And so it's a shift. No, I help you create powerful leaders. No, I help you educate these bad bosses to become motivating and uplifting, right? So it's so hard for us sometimes to think about, what problem are we solving? Don't sell vitamins, sell pain pills, right? Because people want to buy the pain pills.
You got it. Absolutely. Absolutely.
I got it. I know how to say it, but to internalize it. And I think that's why people should be hiring CMOs, CFOs, CHOs, because we have that area of expertise and we have that vision of doing things. What other things do you want to share? Because part of our helping of the podcast, helping people, is understanding tips, strategies, and trends. So if you can give some insights into some of the trends that you're seeing, so that we as business owners and HR professionals are thinking, well, what do we need to do now to make our brand presence better, or whatever you see. I'd love you to give us some trends in marketing at this
Oh,
point.
absolutely. Some trends in marketing. Well, one of the first things is to make sure that you understand how your customers buy from you, and why they're staying with you. So it's really important to get clear on that. I do have to say, so within the realm of marketing, every marketing option, every marketing tactic want to go with skywriting, you want to go with SEO only. It all has a place and it all works. So it's just a different approach, and all of those approaches are going to work, or they won't exist. They wouldn't exist, but they may not work for you. So just because you've had one bad experience or good experience, or you think a certain way in marketing is the way to go, it may very well be the same in finance. It may very well be the same in HR. There's different approaches, and depending on what size of company, where you are in your growth level, and what you're trying to do with your company, there's a different service that can really help you. The trends that we are seeing is to be customer centric. That never goes out of style, but sometimes it's ignored for the shiny objects, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
It's a specific trend that has been, I think it's been pronounced dead over 20 times, has been email marketing, to be quite honest. What is so helpful about email marketing is that no matter what size of a business you are, from the very smallest to huge companies, you can run email marketing campaigns. And the good thing about that, in contrast to what you heard happen with Nimble Quotes being so attached to Twitter, that customer list, your email list, you own it. You have the ability to talk to those customers at any time with their permission. And that just can't be undervalued. And I think sometimes with a lot of the marketing shiny objects, and especially now that every second person is talking about AI, 5 seconds into a conversation, we just kind of lose sight of, the customers that pay our bills, and, we're moving over to AI. So I would say that there's always these trends happening, but if you can keep up the trend of really understanding and serving your customers, that's one thing that's going to pay off.
I think what you just said about email is gold, because you connect with them and they have given you permission. They should be. If you're not doing that, you should have permission from them, and that's Castle in Canada laws. If you don't know that, you should look it up, Castle. And you have permission, and now you can have emails and share some tips and strategies and have that relationship, because you're right, it is about relationship building. And I know from my own preferences, I like to work with customers. I like to work with suppliers, vendors that I feel I know, like, and trust. And when I do that, I don't change unless I have a different need or they have not delivered in a way that just doesn't make sense to continue. So some really valuable tips and strategies, and really helping us understand the huge gamut when you say marketing. And we touched upon a few things, but I think the key is, looking at a strategy based on your business. That's the key message that I heard, and why one would find value in bringing on a fractional chief marketing officer to help with that foundation of creating something that aligns. And I like the last tip about emails, because my email list needs to be scrubbed and added to, because I have so many connections, but that many of them aren't on my email list, even though I say, yeah, I'd like to go on, and I forget. So I'm going to be more conscientious about that. Jen, thank you very much for coming on today. How do people get a hold of you? What's the best way?
The best way is through the company website, New Initiatives Marketing. You can look me up on LinkedIn. It's Jennifer Kelly, but I think there's about 5 million of us. I mean, I've been told it's hard to find. If you come to the website, we do have a complimentary consultation to see if our program is called Strategy First. We can get a marketing strategy done for you in 60 days, with day 61 being the day we start to execute. So drop by the website, book a consultation, and let's see if it's something that we can help you with.
Well, thank you for joining me today and sharing your wisdom and insights into that huge domain of marketing, which we all can use to help build our own businesses. And thanks again.
Thank you.
And to those who are listening or watching, thank you for joining us today. I hope you found some really helpful and useful tips. I certainly asked a few questions on my own to learn more about how I can market better in my own business. So if you liked it, give it a thumbs up or add comments and subscribe, because I bring on different experts in the field of managing businesses and human resources every week. Thanks. Have a great day. Bye. Thank you for tuning in to Rev Up Your Business with Hilda Gan. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe to our podcast on YouTube and Spotify to stay up to date with all of our latest episodes. For more HR tips, strategies, and to learn how you can create a people-centric workplace, visit our website at peoplebrightconsulting.com.